Good morning. It is rather crispy and cold this morning, about 3 degrees. Anyway, today we are taking the old girl, and when I mean the old girl, I mean the old VXR, to Evolution to get the tracking done as from its accident on New Year's Eve. And also the door doesn't open properly. She is not tracking straight. So, at the minute, she's pulling to the left quite a lot, which was caused by the accident where obviously the lady went into the side of the car. I'll put some pictures up as well because it was rather... it looks a lot worse than it did. It looked very bad. But yeah, at the minute, if I flip the old camera around, start up the old girl. Turn the fans down. I mean, at the minute, that is sort of like straight on. So we need to get it back to centre because it is pulling quite a lot to the left. So we're going to head along to Evolution and get it sorted. She's dropped off at the garage. Very good garages, Evolution. I had to park her over there because there's no space. But she is ready to be mended, hopefully, and we'll have a look at her later on. Okay, we are back from the garage next morning because Evolution were very busy. Obviously they were busy, so they didn't get to my car until the end. But tracking is sorted, 36 quid. I think that's very reasonable. Yeah, so basically they noticed that both front tyres were near legal limit. Very aware of that. I'm going to get that sorted next week. And also the lower offside front lower suspension arm bushes are deteriorating, which might need doing on the next MOT, which Simon said at the garage that if those bushes were brand new and stiff, may have been a different story for the front suspension. So actually, some warm bushes might have actually saved my car. But we are completely straight and true, and the tracking is sorted, and the car is now driving lovely. So to celebrate this magnificence, we are going to give the old girl a wash. So, Auto Gleam cleaning products is what we are going to be using today. Obviously bucket and a funny mop sponge and a normal sponge, and we also have a microfiber drying cloth, and we have a red polishing cloth. I use blue for screens, so glass, yellow for interior. There's another polishing cloth there. We've got a fantastic selection of Auto Gleam products. I find they are the best. Tyre dressing, interior shampoo, vinyl and rubber care, that's more for inside. Fast glass, wheel cleaner as well, so we'll spray that on. Shampoo there as well. We do have some polish and stuff, but we are going to be using Carplan Demon Shine today. And as I have no outside water tap, we have a very set up hose in window which comes through into here and connects onto here with a knife in here. It's all right because it's too big, a bit Heath Robinson, but it will work. So yeah, so as I told you on the first video on this channel, that Christmas Eve this car got crashed into the side of, which you can sort of notice slight dent here and a bit of a dent here, which I managed to pull it out from the inside, and there were some awful tyre marks and scratches which I did manage to polish out, so it doesn't look too bad. But with that, we'll get cracking. Okay, so the car is now looking wonderful. This is all rinsed off. Just going to let it dry a little bit, and then we'll be going over it with a microfiber towel, and then we'll be giving it a nice polish with the Demon Shine spray on shine. Yeah, obviously you can choose to use a proper car polish if you have the time. I do not have the time today, and also car polish is very tricky and hard to apply, especially not using like a electronic applicator or some sort of like applicating pad that you can use to put it on. Also, you do not want to be applying polish or ideally washing a car when it is blazing hot sunshine, as it will dry quicker than you can apply it. So it's always best to do it on a slightly overcast day. But yes, we'll crack on and dry the car off and apply some Demon Shine. Okay, with made a cat friend. Hi there. With the car now Demon Shine, all there is left to do now is to apply some tyre dressing to the wheels. So two things you can do is you can do what I'm going to do, and that is spray it nice and evenly around the tyre, and you can either let it soak in for allow it to dry for a light gloss finish, or you can remove the excess with a microfiber cloth for a more satin finish, but I'm going to leave it like that for a nice gloss finish. Okay, next what we're going to do is we are going to clean the door, the inside of the door, because it's still bodywork, and when it is all shiny it looks very good. So literally no real sort of like soap or anything, just going over it with a microfiber cloth and a little bit of Demon Shine, just to shine up the kick plates and just the edge of the side skirt there. Well, and can also do the door as well. Well, then all that there is left to do now is to clean the glass. So just spray it on, some nice back and forth motions, turning the cloth ever so often. As you can see on the window here, hashtag Team Arden, absolutely fantastic Facebook group. If you have a Arden VXR like I do, they're really nice people and really supportive in the group, and they respect everyone's car, which is really nice compared to a lot of car groups and a lot of car cultures that sort of like, you know, either have little cliques or you know, only accept certain cars and, you know, modded ones. I mean, this is completely standard, but they respect that, which is nice. So yeah, big up to Team Arden. If you want to join them, they're on Facebook, and yeah, give them a try. And with that, that is the car nice and clean. So we've washed it, we've shampooed it, we've rinsed it, we have dried it, we have applied Demon Shine, we have done tyre dressing as well, and we have also realised how much the back tyres come out compared to the rest of the car. Yeah, so we've done the glass as well. I've done the interior glass because glass only looks clean if you do two sides. So yeah, that is the car nice and clean now. So take this advantage now to double check your fluid levels, your tyre pressures, and also your coolant level. Basically just check all of your car's levels, because you should check them every maybe 2-3 weeks, just to make sure that you're not running low on anything, as this car does have a slight issue with its oil level indicator. It keeps flashing up even when there's loads of oil in it. So yeah, let's go and double check that now. Okay, and with the workhorse of this car, the engine bay. 1.6 turbo, obviously petrol, so it is very important to make sure that these cars are topped up with oil, because this is a oil cooled turbo. So just checking the oil, yeah, we're about halfway. I mean, the oil is quite dark. This car is due a service, which that will be the next video, which will be doing a service on my Corsa VXR. It will only be a half service, so it'll be oil and oil filters. But if you don't know, on the dipstick there is a little marker that says minimum and maximum, and it says 1 litre. So I'm guessing and hoping, and pretty much by, you know, from history, that is how much it takes between the minimum and the maximum. So if you find your oil on minimum, put a litre of oil in it and it'll be back up to the max. Apart from, you don't want a litre of oil. You know, get it between halfway, because you don't want it too low and you don't want it too high. If you have it too high, your oil pressure will be quite high and you could damage the engine. So I always recommend to keep the oil halfway, and then obviously it's just double checking things like your coolant level, and also top up your screen wash if you require it. I'm not going to top up my screen wash because I have a slight crack in the screen wash tank, so as soon as it goes in, it comes straight out. So that is something that needs to be fixed. And whilst we are here, I can show you all the projects that need to be done to this beautiful Vauxhall Corsa VXR. Project number 1 needs a new bonnet. It's very rusty at the edges. Not massive importance, but it's still a little bit rusty. I've got a slight crack in the windscreen, but it is not an MOT fail, and it is not in vision of the driver. Also, I need to sort out a slight water leak that I do have, especially when heavy rain. So I need to get some new Tiger Seal and just redo the strip of silicone along the edge, because it is dripping down from the sun visor. Also, one big thing which I'm not too sure what to do, so I might need your guys' advice, and that is on the roof. I don't know if you can see it, but the lacquer is starting to peel, which obviously it does over time with sun and UV, and also just general washing over time. You end up you know, damaging the lacquer, and you end up tearing it, ripping it. So I have found tutorials about reapplying the lacquer, rubbing it down, taking it to about 2,500 grit on sandpaper, and then reapplying the clear coat lacquer, which is what I would like to do, but it's a big job, and I'm not too sure if I should just bite the bullet and put a carbon fibre wrap on it instead, which would give it a black roof, probably look quite cool. Probably the same with the bonnet as well, because that would fix the rust problem, and also the bonnet is starting to wear a little bit on the paintwork as well. Also, as I said, we're doing a service, which will probably be next week, and also I want to clean up the exhaust manifold heat shield. Just take it off and spray it in a high temperature silver paint. And also, whilst I'm there, I need to, I think, replace the exhaust manifold gasket, as there is a slight whiff of exhaust gases coming into the car, and also there is a small sort of like noise when this car accelerates when it's cold. Apparently that can be caused by a worn exhaust gasket, so we will sort that out as well. Apart from that, the car is looking quite good, and I'm very happy with it. And I will now give you a little bit of a backstory. So you meet me inside. Obviously, lovely Recaro bucket seats. You find most VXRs have bucket seats on them, and Astra, obviously the Astra, the Insignia, the Vectra VXR, and obviously this all have Recaro bucket seats. Do have a slight issue with the sides, sort of like over time they start coming away from the car, which is another thing that I need to fix. But it's very tricky to do unless you are probably a professional seat upholsterer or someone like that. Anyway, yeah, my Corsa VXR is completely standard. It is a 2007 model, which is when the Corsa D first came on sale, was first introduced into this country. And this car is one of the very early examples of the Corsa D. So the VXR range has been going on for quite a few years. Sadly, Vauxhall have now stopped the VXR range, which is quite sad, to be honest, because they're fantastic cars and they've got such character and they're so cool. And obviously VXR was back in the day when Vauxhall, I don't know if they still are, but when Vauxhall used to do touring car racing. So Vauxhall, well, VXR stands for Vauxhall Racing, which is obviously is a bit like Mercedes AMG to Vauxhall is their, you know, tuning house. So yeah, but sadly, obviously Vauxhall have now, I think, been bought out by, I think it's the PRC group that make Peugeot. I think it's Peugeot and Citroën. So basically, it's now owned by the French. So yeah, so they've all gone down the route of electric cars and hybrids, which I'm not a big fan of. That's why I have this. But yes, this car was built in a factory in Spain called Opel España. It is a few miles from Barcelona, I believe it is. It's not too far. My ambition in life, and hopefully at some point, is to do a road trip with this car, and that is to take it from here in the UK, in Northamptonshire, all the way to the Opel factory in Spain. Basically take it back to its birthplace. And yeah, it's about I think it's 2,500 miles to there, which is a long trip, obviously. And it goes through France and obviously through Spain as well, and obviously do some sightseeing whilst I'm there as well, which would be great. But yeah, the main reason why I am keeping this car and why I absolutely adore this car, and it's not just because this was my first sort of like proper purchase as a oh god, how old was I think I was 21. It was my 21st birthday gift to myself, and yeah, it was my first main purchase, and I bought it outright. It is my car. No one can take it from me. It is my pride and joy. I also take it to shows and meets with Team Arden at Silverstone and Santa Pod, as you know, they're not too far from here in Northamptonshire. But the main reason why I am holding on to this car, and that is, I believe at some point it could become a future classic Vauxhall. So not this year, but next year in 2027, this car will be 20 years old. But obviously, I believe cars in this country don't normally reach classic status until they reach 40 years old. So we've got another 20 years to go yet. But the VXR Corsa range started in mid-April of 2007. You can find this information online on a Vauxhall sort of like Wikipedia page. This car was manufactured on the 28th of March 2007, and it was then first registered into this country on the 7th of April 2007. So this car could very possibly be one of the first Corsa VXRs ever built, ever sold, ever first registered. Sadly, I don't know how to find out that information, you know, and have it confirmed, as I don't seem to be able to find some sort of Vauxhall heritage, sort of like, you know, classifies or some sort of like archives, sadly. But yeah, I do believe that this car could become eventually very collectible and rare. But obviously there are a lot of them on the road at the minute, which obviously ruins its value. So I've got to hold on to the car for probably a very long time. But yeah, over the course of period of me owning this car for, be coming up to 2018 is when I purchased this car, so it will be coming up to 8 years now I've owned this car. And over the period of time, it's been quite reliable. It's been very good. There's just been the odd issue with, if anyone owns a Vauxhall Corsa VXR, they will know that the M32 gearbox is also known as the chocolate box. And in, I think it was 2019 or 2020, during the COVID, this car had a reconditioned gearbox, and at the same time also had a new clutch and a new clutch slave cylinder, which was the reason why I went ahead and did the gearbox at that time, because at that point the clutch slave cylinder started leaking, which meant that changing gear was becoming very tricky. So I needed to, well, obviously take it to the garage and get it sorted. But annoyingly, to get to the clutch slave cylinder, you have to take the gearbox out, because the clutch slave cylinder is in the gearbox housing. So I thought, I need a new gearbox, so might as well do it. So I had a new clutch slave cylinder, new gearbox, reconditioned from a salvage yard, £278, I believe it was. And it was also an uprated box, so it had some different things in it. I don't know, to make it last longer, probably. And had the chocolate taken out of it, probably. But yeah, and then it had, obviously, new gearbox, new clutch slave cylinder, and I had a new clutch fitted as well. Whilst the gearbox was out, you might as well, because it would be so annoyed if you did all that work and put the gearbox back in, and then your clutch went. You got to take it all out again. So yeah, that was done. And then this car's been quite reliable up to, I think it was 2 years ago now, where it's my own stupid fault yet again. Radiator had a leak, and I didn't spot it until it was too late, and I think the engine overheated to not my knowing, and the head gasket went, started getting oil in the coolant, and eventually the car would run and it would be fine after it started running, but then also the old piston 4, which a lot of people know about, started knocking and doing silly things. So new engine as well 2 years ago. Yeah, that was in total I got a brand new engine from a salvage yard, 750 quid, and it cost me £800. I also got a new radiator, and I got a local guy in Alderney Williston to fit it, and that cost me £800. So in total, I think it was about 1,600 quid in total to get this car back on the road. So yeah, it's had a lot of work done, but it still drives, and it's still great. It's still fun. It still puts a smile on my face now. But obviously Christmas Eve is when this car took a bit of a hammering. This car's taken a bit of a hammering this year by Audis, to be honest. And at the start of the year, literally a month before the Vauxhall show at Santapod, this car got rear-ended by an Audi, and I had to put a new bumper on it. Very easy to do. It was great. I got a new bumper, 130 quid. The lady who crashed into me, she paid for it. Brilliant. And then on Christmas Eve of 2025, yeah, some lady in an Audi again went straight into the side of this door and yeah, ended up damaging the steering. Very luckily, all it did was knock the tracking out. That's all it did. I did claim on the insurance, and yeah, I've got some money in my back pocket, which is nice, which I can put towards the car and also towards getting married. But yeah, it was definitely not a write-off, so it's nice, and it only cost 36 quid to fix, so perfect. But yeah, it's a good little car. There's going to be some videos and bits coming up. Obviously, I've got servicing to do, I've got the roof to fix, I've got the leak to fix in the engine bay, the screen wash, and also that exhaust manifold heat shield that I want to paint as well. So there can be a few nice little videos coming up. But yeah, that'll be the end for this one. Stay tuned for more. I do expect to keep doing more to this car. Eventually, I want to retire this car and just use it for nice days out and for shows, and get myself a cheap little runabout. That is the main goal now with this car, because it is coming up to some high mileage now. It's just clocked over 140,000 miles, which, to be honest, I think is probably very unusual for a Vauxhall Corsa VXR, because they probably end up backwards in a hedge or in a tree before they even reach 100,000 miles. So yeah, it's very rare that a car of this caliber has probably got to this mileage, so I need to start looking after it. But yes, that'll be all for this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.